The morning sun cast long shadows through the tall purple trees of New Haven as Kate adjusted her breathing mask. She didn't really need it anymore. The air was almost Earth-like after 15 years of terraforming. But old habits died hard. The scanner in her hand beeped steadily as she walked through the misty forest, tracking animal movements. Behind her, moving as quiet as a shadow, came Rex. The six-legged creature was as big as an earth tiger, with scales that shifted colors like flowing water. Most colonists still feared these beasts, but Kate knew better. She had found Rex 3 years ago, badly wounded by a poacher's trap, and nursed him back to health. "Ready for today's rounds?" she asked, looking back at her companion. Rex's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, his way of saying yes. The creature's long tail swayed gently as he walked beside her, scanning the forest with senses far sharper than any human's. Their morning routine was simple but important. They checked on the younger animals, made sure no new illegal traps had been set, and collected data on the planet's rapidly evolving wildlife. Kate's small research station sat at the edge of the colony, a perfect spot to study the forest's creatures. Today felt different, though. The usual morning sounds were missing. No chirping from the tree dwellers, no humming from the flying insects. Even Rex seemed tense, his scales rippling with dark patterns. "You feel it too, don't you?" Kate said softly, patting Rex's scaly shoulder. The creature made a low rumbling sound in response. Something was wrong in their forest. They found the first sign of trouble near the river. Deep claw marks on trees, much larger than anything they'd seen before. Kate took measurements while Rex sniffed the air, his head frills expanding to catch more scents. "These are fresh," she muttered, "and whatever made them is huge." Her hand scanner beeped as it analyzed the marks. The depth and width suggested a creature at least 3 times Rex's size. A sudden crash in the distance made them both freeze. Through the trees, they saw something move, something big. Rex's scales shifted to match the forest's colors, but he stayed close to Kate, protective as always. Back at her research station, Kate uploaded the day's findings. The computer screen filled with warnings as it analyzed the claw mark data. Her small cabin was cluttered with research equipment, specimens, and the special bed she'd built for Rex next to her own. "Miss Walker," a voice called from her computer. It was Commander Stone, the colony's security chief. "We've got reports of unusual creature activity from all sectors. Multiple sightings of unknown large predators. We're advising all outer station personnel to relocate to the main colony until further notice." Kate looked at Rex, who was watching her with his intelligent eyes. "Acknowledged, Commander, but I'll be staying at my post. Someone needs to study these new creatures, understand what's happening. This isn't a request, Walker. These things are dangerous. We've already lost contact with 2 other research stations. All the more reason to stay and figure out what's going on," Kate replied firmly. "I have Rex with me. We'll be careful." The commander sighed. "Your alien pet won't help if a pack of these things decide to attack. But I know better than to argue with you. Just be careful." Stone out. Kate scratched behind Rex's head frills, making him purr. "Pet, ha. If they only knew how smart you really are." Rex had saved her life more than once, and she'd seen him solve problems that would challenge most humans. As night fell, the forest grew unnaturally quiet again. Kate sat at her desk, studying the data, while Rex watched through the window. The new creatures were unlike anything in their records. Bigger, stronger, and seemingly more aggressive than the native wildlife. "Something's stirring them up," Kate said, mostly to herself, "making them leave their territory." Rex suddenly stood, his scales turning dark with alarm. Outside, a deep roar echoed through the forest, closer than anything they'd heard before. Kate grabbed her research kit and emergency pack. Whatever was out there, she had a feeling they'd be seeing it soon. The human who braved alien beasts to save her was just beginning. Kate woke to the sound of her morning alarm, reaching out automatically to pat Rex's bed. Her hand found empty space. Strange. Rex never left before she woke up. She sat up quickly, scanning her small cabin. "Rex," she called out, trying to keep the worry from her voice. The morning light streamed through her windows, showing no signs of trouble inside. Her security systems hadn't been triggered during the night. She pulled on her field gear and grabbed her scanner. Outside, the purple forest was quiet in the dawn light. Too quiet, just like yesterday. Kate checked the ground around her cabin, finding Rex's tracks leading into the forest. They followed their usual morning patrol route. "At least you're being careful," she muttered, following the familiar trail. Rex's tracks showed his normal walking pattern until they reached the river bend. Then everything changed. Kate knelt down, her heart beating faster. The ground was torn up, with multiple sets of tracks overlapping. Rex's prints showed he had shifted into a defensive stance. There were other tracks too, massive three-toed footprints she'd never seen before. Her scanner beeped as it analyzed dark stains on the leaves. "Blood," it reported. "Multiple sources. Primary sample matches. Subject Rex." "No, no, no," Kate whispered, searching the area more carefully. The signs told a clear story. Rex had been ambushed. He'd fought back. There was blood from his attackers too. But the tracks showed he'd been dragged away, deeper into the unexplored forest. Something metallic caught her eye. Half hidden under leaves, she found a broken piece of equipment. It wasn't natural debris. This was a piece of a high-tech trap. Kate recognized the design from her anti-poaching work. Her communicator buzzed. "Walker, check in." Commander Stone's voice crackled. "We've got more reports off." "Commander," Kate cut in. "I need help. Rex is gone. There are signs of a fight, and I found poaching equipment." A long pause. "Return to the colony immediately. We'll send a search team. In 2 days, maybe 3. Kate said bitterly. She knew how slowly the colony's bureaucracy worked. The trail will be cold by then. "Walker, those new creatures are still out there. We've lost contact with the Eastern Station now too. Whatever's happening is connected to this," Kate finished. "The poachers, the new predators, Rex's disappearance. It's all linked. I can feel it." "Don't do anything stupid," Stone warned. Kate was already checking her supply pack. "I'm going after him." "That's an order. Walker, return tow." She turned off her communicator. They'd probably punish her later, but she didn't care. Rex was family. He'd come for her if their positions were reversed. Back at her cabin, Kate packed quickly but carefully. Extra food, water purifiers, medical supplies, and her research equipment. Most importantly, she grabbed her special tracker, a small device she'd attached to Rex's collar months ago. The signal was weak but there. Whatever had taken Rex was heading deeper into the unexplored territories, towards the mountains that the colony's maps marked as unsafe for exploration. As Kate shouldered her pack, she heard heavy footsteps outside. Through her window, she saw 3 colony security officers approaching. Commander Stone must have sent them to bring her back. Kate slipped out her back door, using the tricks Rex had taught her about moving quietly. The forest seemed to help, its purple leaves rustling to cover her escape. She'd studied these woods for years. The security team wouldn't be able to track her. The tracker's signal pulsed faintly, pointing towards the mountains. Something moved in the shadows of the trees ahead. Something big. The new predators were still out there, but so was Rex, and he needed her. Kate checked her stun gun and took a deep breath. "I'm coming, friend," she whispered, and stepped into the deep forest. Behind her, she could hear the security team discovering her empty cabin. The real hunt was about to begin, but they had it backwards. They thought she was the prey, heading into danger. They didn't understand that anything threatening Rex had made a terrible mistake. Kate wasn't just a scientist. She was a human protecting her family. And humans, as the galaxy was about to learn, were the most dangerous creatures of all when protecting those they loved. Kate's boots crunched softly on strange blue moss as she moved deeper into unknown territory. Her tracker beeped steadily. Rex was still moving, but at least he'd stopped going further away. 2 days had passed since she'd left the colony behind. The forest had changed around her. The familiar purple trees were now mixed with towering black ones that seemed to pulse with their own light. Her scanner kept warning her about new toxins in the air, but her mask's filters were holding. A distant roar made her freeze. It wasn't like anything she'd heard before. Deeper, more ancient somehow. Kate pressed herself against a tree trunk, her heart pounding as heavy footsteps shook the ground nearby. Through the mist, she saw it. The creature was enormous, easily 4 times bigger than Rex. Its 6 legs ended in massive claws, and 2 rows of eyes glowed along its armored head. But what caught Kate's attention was the metal collar around its neck. This was no natural beast. The creature passed without noticing her. Kate waited until it was gone, then checked her scanner. The readings made her frown. That beast's DNA was wrong, like someone had mixed different species together. "What have they done to you?" she whispered, thinking of the poacher's equipment she'd found. This was bigger than illegal hunting. Someone was making these monsters. The tracker led her to the base of a cliff face. Rex's signal was stronger here, but there was no way forward. Kate studied the rock wall until she noticed something odd. Perfectly straight lines hidden under the moss. "Not natural," she muttered, pulling away the vegetation. A metal door emerged, ancient and weathered, but definitely not made by human hands. Alien writing covered its surface. Her scanner hummed as it analyzed the door. "Warning. Active power source detected." Before Kate could think about what that meant, she heard the security team behind her. They'd caught up faster than she'd expected. She needed to hide. The door had a simple control panel. Kate pressed her hand against it, hoping it would. The ground disappeared beneath her feet. She fell through darkness, tumbling down a smooth tunnel. Her light stick crashed against the walls as she slid deeper underground. She landed hard in a dimly lit chamber. Ancient machines hummed around her, covered in the same writing as the door. The air smelled clean. Some kind of filtration system was still working after who knew how many years. Her tracker beeped excitedly. Rex was close. A screech echoed through the tunnels. Kate ducked behind a machine as one of the new creatures stalked past. It was different from the one she'd seen above. Smaller but covered in metal implants. Its movements were jerky, unnatural. "They're using the old alien facility," Kate realized. The poachers hadn't just found this place. They were using it to make their monsters. She followed the creature at a safe distance. The tunnels opened into a massive cave filled with glowing pods. Inside each one, she could see more twisted creatures, some still transforming, others fully changed. Rex's signal led her to a side chamber. Her friend was there, locked in one of the pods. He was unconscious but alive. Kate could see they'd already started changing him. Metal implants gleamed along his spine. "I'll get you out," she promised quietly. "Just need to figure out how these controls work." "That would be unwise," a voice said behind her. Kate turned to find a man in a lab coat, flanked by 2 more of the enhanced creatures. "Do you know how much work we've put into this? The money involved." He smiled coldly. "The military applications." "You're making weapons," Kate said, her hand slowly moving to her stun gun. "That's what this is about." "Precisely. And now you'll get to help us test them." He nodded to his creatures. "Take her." Kate didn't run. Instead, she remembered everything Rex had taught her about predators. She stood her ground and bared her teeth in a snarl. "You should have stayed in your safe little colony," the man said. Kate's finger found her stun gun's trigger. "No," she replied calmly. "You should have never touched my friend." The cave erupted into chaos as she made her move. The hunt had become a battle, and Kate intended to win. The stun gun's flash lit up the cave like lightning. Kate's first shot caught one of the enhanced creatures in its multiple eyes, sending it crashing into the wall. She didn't wait to see it fall, already rolling behind an ancient console as the second beast lunged for her. "Don't damage her too badly," the man in the lab coat called out. "She'll make an excellent test subject." Kate's mind raced as she dodged another attack. The creatures were fast but moved stiffly, like they weren't used to their new parts. She could use that. "You don't understand what you found here," the man continued, staying safely behind his remaining beast. "This facility isn't just some alien laboratory. It's a weapons factory, the perfect place to create the next generation of military forces." "You're wrong," Kate shot back, noticing how the creature's metal implants glowed when it moved. "This isn't a weapons lab. Look at the symbols on the walls. I studied enough alien languages to recognize medical signs." The man laughed. "Medical?" Then explained the creatures they were working on. Kate ducked another swipe from the enhanced beast. "They were trying to save them," she said, remembering the careful notes in the alien writing. "Something was killing the native wildlife. They were attempting to make them stronger, help them adapt." She pointed at the beast, "not turn them into weapons." A loud crack echoed through the chamber. One of the glowing pods was breaking, its systems overloading from the fight's damage. More cracks spread across other pods. "No," the man shouted. "Do you know how much money?" He never finished. The pods burst open, spilling half-transformed creatures into the cave. They were confused, angry, and very much awake. Kate used the chaos to reach Rex's pod. The control panel was complex, but she recognized enough symbols to find the emergency release. The pod hissed open. Rex wasn't moving. The metal implants along his spine pulsed with sickly light. "Come on, friend," Kate whispered, checking his vital signs with her scanner. "I need you." Behind her, screams echoed as the released creatures turned on their would-be masters. The man in the lab coat fled deeper into the facility, pursued by his own creations. Kate's scanner beeped. Rex's life signs were stable but weak. The implants were fighting his natural healing abilities. She needed to get them out, but how? A message flashed across the ancient console nearby. "Emergency protocol activated. Restoration sequence initiated." The alien facility was waking up, its true purpose triggering automatically. The air filled with a fine mist as medical systems activated. Where it touched the enhanced creatures, their implants began to dissolve. That's it, Kate realized. They built in a way to undo the changes. She dragged Rex's unconscious form into the thickest part of the mist. Slowly, the metal along his spine began to fade. Rex's eyes flickered open. All four of them focused on Kate, and his scales rippled with weak color patterns. He was saying thank you in his own way. "Don't try to move yet," she told him, watching as the mist continued its work. "The facility's helping us. The aliens who built this place, they were healers, not weapon makers." A distant explosion shook the cave. The facility's systems were overloading, years of decay finally taking their toll. They needed to leave. "Can you walk?" Kate asked. Rex rose shakily to his feet, his natural healing already kicking in as the last implants dissolved. They made their way through the chaos of the collapsing facility. The enhanced creatures were returning to normal, their artificial parts falling away in the healing mist. Most fled into the deeper tunnels, following their instincts home. "We need to tell Commander Stone," Kate said as they reached the main chamber. "Show him what really happened here. Make sure nobody tries this again." Rex growled in agreement, then suddenly pushed Kate aside as a section of ceiling crashed down. He was still protecting her, even injured. They weren't safe yet. The man in the lab coat was still out there, and the facility was falling apart around them. But Kate smiled as she ran beside her friend. They were together again, and that made them strong enough to face whatever came next. The true nature of the alien facility had been revealed, but their adventure was far from over. More explosions rocked the underground facility as Kate and Rex ran through the twisting corridors. Emergency lights pulsed along the walls. casting strange shadows. Rex's natural tracking abilities led them forward, but they kept hitting dead ends. They've sealed the exits, Kate realized, checking another locked door. Her scanner showed multiple energy signatures activating throughout the facility. The whole place is going into lockdown. A scream echoed from somewhere behind them. Human, not beast. Despite everything, Kate turned toward the sound. Rex whined in protest, but followed her. They found the man in the lab coat trapped under fallen debris, one of his own creatures advancing on him. "Help me," he begged when he saw Kate. The creature, still partially enhanced with metal implants, snarled at them both. Kate aimed her stun gun at the creature. "Rex, get him out." Her friend hesitated for just a moment, then moved to help while Kate kept the beast at bay. "Why?" The man gasped as Rex pulled him free. "I tried to change him, hurt him. Why help me?" "Because that's what makes us different from you," Kate answered, backing away slowly. The creature followed, its enhanced parts sparking dangerously. "We help, not hurt, like the aliens who built this place." Suddenly, the floor beneath the enhanced creature lit up. A beam of light shot down from the ceiling, bathing it in the same healing mist from before. The beast roared as its implants began dissolving. "The facility," the man said, watching in amazement. "It's not shutting down. It's trying to heal everything." Kate's scanner confirmed it. The alien medical systems were activating everywhere, attempting to restore all the transformed creatures to their natural states. But the power surge was too much for the ancient machines. "We need to get out before the whole place collapses," Kate said. "Do you know another way?" The man nodded weakly. "The main lab. There's an emergency shaft that leads to the surface." He looked at the creature that had almost killed him, now freed of its implants and fleeing down a side tunnel. "I was wrong about this place, about everything." They made their way to the main lab, Rex supporting the injured man while Kate watched for danger. The lab was enormous, filled with rows of empty pods and ancient medical equipment. Star maps covered one wall, showing planets they'd never seen. They were explorers, Kate said, studying the maps. They found worlds with dying ecosystems and tried to save them. This facility wasn't for making weapons, it was for healing entire planets. "And we almost turned it into a factory for war machines," the man said quietly. "My name's Tom, by the way. I'm sorry." Another explosion cut off any response. The emergency shaft was visible now, a straight tunnel leading up to a faint light. But as they approached it, massive security doors began closing throughout the lab. "The facility's containment systems," Tom explained. "They're trying to keep the healing mist inside to finish treating all the transformed creatures. We'll be trapped." Kate looked at Rex, saw the determination in all four of his eyes. Without hesitation, her friend bounded to the nearest door control, using his claws to tear open the panel. Inside, ancient crystals glowed with power. "The door controls are crystal-based," Kate realized. "Rex, can you?" Rex's scales shifted color, matching the crystal's glow perfectly. He pressed his claws against it, and the door's movement slowed. He was somehow interfering with the control signal. "That's incredible," Tom whispered. "How did he know to do that?" "Because he's smart," Kate said proudly, helping Tom toward the shaft. "And because we trust each other." The doors fought against Rex's interference, slowly creeping closed. They had minutes, maybe less. The shaft would be a tight climb, and Tom was barely standing. "Rex, come on," Kate called. Her friend gave the crystal one last pulse of color-changed scales, then bounded after them. They could hear the doors slamming shut behind them as they started to climb. Above, the light grew stronger, but something was waiting at the top. Kate could hear heavy breathing and metallic growls. Not all the enhanced creatures had been cured yet. The real fight, she realized, was still to come. But now they knew the truth about the facility, and they had a secret weapon. The healing mist still clinging to their clothes and Rex's scales. The surface was close. It was time to end this, once and for all. The shaft's opening loomed above them, moonlight streaming down from New Haven's 3 moons. Kate climbed first, with Tom behind her and Rex bringing up the rear. The growls from above grew louder. 3 of them. Rex's color patterns warned Kate, his scales flickering in the darkness. She'd learned to read his signals over their years together. Still enhanced, waiting. When they reached the top, Kate saw them. 3 massive beasts, their metal implants glowing brightly in the night. They were the biggest ones yet, clearly the poacher's final projects before everything went wrong. "The healing mist," Tom whispered. "It's still on us, but not enough for all of them." Kate looked at Rex, saw him studying the enhanced creatures with all 4 eyes. His scales still held traces of the facility's healing power, glowing faintly. An idea struck her. "Rex," she said softly, "remember how you matched the crystal's energy? Can you do that with the mist?" Rex's scales began to pulse, copying the exact glow of the healing substance. The enhanced creatures took a step back, confused by the familiar energy signature. "It's working," Tom said, "but they're fighting it. The implants are too strong." One of the beasts lunged forward. Kate raised her stun gun, but Rex was faster. He met the creature head-on, his glowing scales pressing against its metal parts. Where they touched, the implants began to dissolve. "He's amplifying the remaining mist," Kate realized, using his natural abilities to spread the cure. The other 2 creatures attacked together. Kate's stun gun caught one in the leg, making it stumble. Rex used the moment to press his scales against it, spreading more of the healing energy. But the 3rd beast was too quick. It knocked Kate down, sending her stun gun sliding away. Tom tried to help but was still too weak from his injuries. Rex roared, a sound Kate had never heard him make before. His scales blazed with light, now glowing brighter than the facility's mist had ever done. He'd figured out how to generate the healing energy himself. The beast pinning Kate hesitated, its implants sparking as Rex's energy reached it. She could see the conflict in its eyes, the natural creature fighting against artificial programming. "It's okay," she told it softly, reaching up to touch its natural scales between the metal parts. "Let it help you. Like the aliens tried to help your ancestors. Like I helped Rex." The creature's implants began to crack. Around them, the other 2 beasts were already changing back, their metal parts falling away as Rex's healing energy did its work. Tom watched in amazement. He's not just copying the facility's power. He's improved it, made it stronger. Kate smiled proudly, because he understands what it's really for. Healing. Helping. Not controlling. The last beast's transformation completed with a final crack of falling metal. It stepped back from Kate, shaking itself like waking from a long sleep. All 3 creatures looked at Rex with new eyes, recognizing him as their savior. "They'll lead the others back," Kate said, watching as Rex communicated with them through color patterns. "Show them how to be themselves again." Above them, the night sky filled with lights. Colony ships, drawn by the facility's power surge. Commander Stone's voice crackled over Kate's communicator. "Walker, are you down there? We're picking up massive energy readings and—" "I'm here," Kate answered, "with Rex, and we've got quite a story to tell you about what was really happening in these mountains." Tom stepped forward. "I'll tell them everything. About the poaching, the experiments, all of it. They need to know the truth about this place." The 3 cured creatures melted into the forest, but not before giving Rex one last respectful color change. He had become something new, not just Kate's friend, but a bridge between species, a healer like the ancient aliens had been. "Ready to go home?" Kate asked him. Rex's scales rippled with warm colors, yes, but also excitement. They both knew this wasn't the end. The facility's star maps had shown other worlds, other places where the aliens had built their healing centers. And somewhere out there, those worlds might need help remembering how to heal instead of harm. But first, They had a story to tell about trust and friendship and the kind of strength that comes from helping others instead of controlling them. The night was ending. A new dawn and new adventures waited ahead. 1 month after the events at the ancient facility, Kate stood before the colony council, Rex by her side. The chamber was packed with colonists, scientists, and security personnel, all eager to hear their full story. The facility wasn't what we thought, Kate explained, as Rex projected calm, reassuring colors to the nervous audience. The aliens who built it were healers. They came to help worlds in crisis, not to create weapons. Commander Stone nodded from his seat. Thanks to the evidence Tom provided, we've arrested the entire poaching network. But that's not why we're here today. On the large screen behind Kate, images from the facility's database played. The alien star maps showed dozens of similar installations on other worlds, each marked with the same medical symbols. We've decoded more of the alien language, Kate continued. Their civilization faced a choice centuries ago. Use their technology for war or healing. They chose to help. They built these facilities across the galaxy to save dying ecosystems. But then they vanished, leaving their work unfinished. Rex's scales rippled with a complex pattern. Kate smiled, understanding his message. Rex has learned to generate and control the healing energy by himself. He's teaching other creatures too. The aliens' work wasn't lost. It just needed time to grow in a new way. Which brings us to your proposal, one council member said. You want to establish a new research center? Yes. Kate brought up the plans on the screen. A place to study the aliens' medical technology properly. To learn from it, not exploit it. The transformed creatures are returning to normal, but they remember. They want to help, like Rex does. As if on cue, a deep rumble shook the chamber. Through the huge windows, the colonists could see one of the formerly enhanced creatures, now fully healed, helping construction teams clear land for the new facility. More creatures worked alongside humans, their natural abilities making them perfect partners. There's more, Commander Stone added. The star maps show similar facilities on 3 nearby planets, all within our range. Kate felt excitement build in her chest. Rex and I want to lead the expeditions. Find these other facilities, learn their secrets. The aliens left us a gift, not just healing technology, but a new way of thinking. Working with nature, not against it. The council chambers erupted in discussion. Some voiced concerns about dangers, others saw opportunities. Through it all, Rex stood calmly by Kate's side, his scales glowing softly with the healing energy he now controlled. Finally, the council leader spoke. We've seen the proof of what cooperation between species can achieve. Your new research center is approved. And the expeditions. Kate held her breath. They're approved too. On one condition. You train others first. We'll need more teams like you and Rex. Later that evening, Kate and Rex stood on the hill overlooking the colony. The new research center was taking shape below, its design combining human technology with the natural curves the aliens have favored. Nearby, more of Rex's kind were learning to use their color-changing abilities to channel healing energy. We did it, friend, Kate said softly. Rex pressed against her side, his scales showing warm patterns of friendship and excitement. In the valley beyond, they could see the mountains where the old facility lay quiet now, its purpose fulfilled in an unexpected way. A group of young scientists approached, eager to learn from the first human-creature partnership. Kate saw the future in their eyes. More teams like her and Rex, exploring the galaxy not to conquer but to heal. The sun set behind the mountains, its light catching on Rex's scales and making them shimmer with all the colors of possibility. They had started as rescuer and rescued, become partners, and now were pioneers of a new kind of exploration. Ready for our next adventure? Kate asked. Rex's scales rippled with the most beautiful patterns she'd ever seen, a mix of confidence, joy, and discovery. Around them, New Haven's forests pulsed with healthy life. Proof that sometimes the bravest thing wasn't fighting monsters, but showing them how to heal. Their story had become legend in the colony, the human who braved alien beasts to save her friend. But really, Kate thought, it was about something bigger. About trust and learning, and the kind of courage that builds bridges instead of walls. The next chapter was waiting in the stars above. And this time, they wouldn't be going alone. The end.